Coco Gauff reveals how Carlos Alcaraz inspired her to ignore coach's advice in Australian Open win. Coco Gauff's latest victory at the Australian Open wasn't just a showcase of her power and athleticism. It was also a revealing moment of mental growth and fearless decision-making. Following her impressive win, the American star opened up about a surprising influence behind her on-court choices, crediting fellow Grand Slam champion Carlos Alcaraz for inspiring her to trust her instincts, even when it meant going against her coach's advice. In a sport where discipline and strict game plans often dominate, Gauff's admission offered a rare glimpse into the mindset of an elite competitor under pressure. She explained how watching Alcaraz play with freedom and confidence encouraged her to stay aggressive during key moments, rather than playing it safe as suggested from her box. That bold approach proved decisive, helping her seize control of the match and close out the win in style. The revelation quickly caught the attention of fans and analysts, highlighting how today's top players influence one another beyond rankings and rivalries. For Gauff, the lesson was clear. Belief in one's own judgment can be just as powerful as any tactical instruction. As her Australian Open campaign continues, Gauff's willingness to adapt, take risks, and draw inspiration from champions like Alcaraz underscores why she remains one of the most exciting and mentally strong players in the game today. The Australian Open has a way of stripping tennis down to its essence. Under the unforgiving Melbourne sun, there is no hiding, no gentle conditions, no sympathetic margins. Every decision matters. Every instinct is exposed. And sometimes, the most important choice a player makes has nothing to do with technique at all. For Coco Gauff, one such moment arrived not with a roar, but with a quiet act of rebellion, the advice everyone expected her to follow. Midway through her Australian Open match, Coco walked to her chair with a familiar rhythm of a changeover. Towel, water bottle, quick glance toward her box. Her coach leaned forward, voice low but urgent. The message was clear, repeated, logical. Be patient. Play higher margin. Wait for the error. It was good advice. Sensible advice. The kind of advice that wins matches on paper. But as Coco listened, something inside her resisted, not because the advice was wrong, but because it wasn't her. She nodded. She always nodded. Cameras caught it. Commentators assumed she would adjust accordingly. She didn't. A memory from another court, another player. As Coco sat back down, she thought, not about the last point or the next one, but about a conversation she'd had months earlier with Carlos Alcaraz. It wasn't formal talk. No deep lecture about tennis philosophy. Just two young stars crossing paths at a tournament, sharing laughs, sharing exhaustion, sharing the strange weight of expectation. She remembered him saying something simple. Sometimes you have to trust the shot you play if no one was watching. Carlos had said it casually, like it was obvious, like it was easy, but Coco knew better. Trusting yourself, especially when everyone around you has a plan for you, was the hardest thing in the sport. The courage to disobey. Back on court, the rally began again. Her opponent sent a looping ball to Coco's backhand. The safe play was clear. Deep cross court, reset the point, wait. Coco stepped in. She took the ball early and ripped it down the line. Winner. A murmur ran through the crowd. In her box, there was a brief stillness. She didn't look over. The next point came. And the next. Coco played with freedom, not recklessness, but conviction. She served bigger. She went for returns earlier. She attacked second serves when every instinct drilled into her since childhood said bill first, strike later. She could almost hear Carlos's voice in her head. Not loud, not demanding, just calm. Trust it. When instinct becomes authority. What made the moment extraordinary wasn't that Coco ignored her coach. It was how she did it. There was no visible frustration, no teenage defiance, no emotional spike. She wasn't trying to prove a point. She was choosing herself. Her movement sharpened. Her body language changed, not louder but lighter. The tension that had crept into her shoulders dissolved. She smiled after missed shots, shrugged off errors, and committed fully to the next decision. Tennis stopped feeling like a checklist. It started feeling like expression. The momentum shifted. Games that once felt fragile suddenly felt inevitable. Her opponent sensed it too. the subtle dread of playing someone who has stopped asking for permission. The match that turned on a thought. Late in the deciding set, Coco faced a crucial point. Her coach gestured. Slower, safer, smarter. Coco bounced the ball. Once. Twice. She served wide, sprinted forward, and finished the point at the net. It was bold. It was risky. It was completely against the pre-match plan. It was perfect. When the final point ended, Coco didn't scream. She didn't collapse. She simply exhaled, as if releasing something she'd been holding for years. The scoreboard showed the win. But the real victory had already happened. The confession that surprised everyone. In the press conference, reporters expected tactical breakdowns. Instead, Coco offered honesty. The coach's quiet smile. Later, away from cameras, Coco's coach smiled. "You played brave," he said. "That was all. Because the best coaches understand something crucial. One day, their players must stop borrowing confidence and start generating it themselves." In Melbourne, Coco Gauff did exactly that. Inspired by a fellow young star, guided by preparation, led by instinct. And in doing so, she didn't just win a match at the Australian Open. She claimed ownership of her game. The rest of the tournament, and perhaps her career, would feel different because of it. As Coco Gauff continues her impressive run at the Australian Open, her candid revelation about drawing inspiration from Carlos Alcaraz offers a deeper look into the evolution of a modern champion. Choosing to trust her instincts over her coach's advice in a crucial moment was not an act of defiance, but a reflection of growing confidence, one shaped by watching fellow young stars thrive by playing fearless, instinctive tennis. Gauff's comment highlighted a broader shift among the sport's next generation, where adaptability and self-belief are becoming just as important as rigid tactics. By embracing Alcaraz's mentality of freedom and aggression, she demonstrated an ability to read the match in real time and respond to conviction, an essential quality for success at the highest level. The decision paid off, reinforcing the idea that great players are not only defined by their physical skills, but by their courage to take ownership of critical moments. Coaches provide structure and preparation, but it is the player alone who must execute under pressure. Gauff's willingness to make that call speaks volumes about her maturity and competitive intelligence. As the tournament progresses, this moment may stand as a defining chapter in her campaign. A reminder that inspiration can come from anywhere, even from a rival, and that trusting oneself can be the difference between a good performance and a winning one. For Coco Gauff, it was another step forward on the path to greatness. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.